I am the defender of cybersecurity secrets, the dark knight of cybersecurity. Nobody called me that, but I call myself that. Okay, hey Meta, can you take a picture? Cool, right? Technology has grown leaps and bounds. This can record, you can talk to stuff. I see a handbag there. Hey, can you scan the bag for credit card information? No, it doesn't happen. That's what Hollywood exaggerates. Today, we're going to talk about the myths that movies show about cybersecurity and the whole big reality behind it. Are you ready for it? Let's go to the show. Okay, now, when you go to a Hollywood movie, especially a movie with a lot of tech inside it, you see Mr. Pierce Brosnan or the James Bond typing a plethora of commands in a matter of seconds. Boom, the gate opens, data is stolen, world is saved, you lose your $120, right? But there's a movie called The Die Hard, which talks about a concept called fire sale, where a nation's the nation's infrastructure, water, power, energy, all gets hacked in a matter of seconds. Well, Hollywood gets it wrong most of the times. It's very, very, very hard to do hacking in a matter of minutes. With these green screens and these terminals, it's absolutely hard. That's where the exaggeration comes here. Okay, now comes the sweet spot, debugging the myths. It's very, very hard to do or crack a password in a matter of seconds, how they show in the movie called The Die Hard. But the reality is, it takes 3 hours to Google and find out how to fix my internet. That's the reality of hacking. But however, let me bring something to this light. Hacking is a very sophisticated technique, a technique that requires a lot of skill, patience, years and years and years to get into it. There are a lot of planning that happens with a lot of cult group, which we're going to talk about it. But however, it's a very, very, very sophisticated technique. Okay, cool criminals. Are movies portraying something very, very, very bad or cool? Well, a lot of youth, especially this generation, who are pretty much very smart and a little restless too, right? Shouldn't think that this is a cool thing to do. Now, Hollywood gets that wrong, especially when they show cool stuff and some of the people start doing it and it opens a whole new can of worms. In every cybersecurity attack or a threat actor, there are various stages to it. But however, who are these people who carry out such cyber attacks? There are a category of people. One, we call it as the Oppenheimer. Who is the Oppenheimer? The one who gets it right, perfect, every spot, every detail right in a cyber attack is an Oppenheimer hacker. Now the second thing is the cool guy, the cool and the narcissist guy. Who is it? There are a set of people in the world who want their name to be spelt everywhere, attention everywhere, because these people will never get the attention in this world today. These are the people, when they read the news, when these attacks happen, when their name, their brand is there, they feel happy about it. The third is the punisher. Who are these punishers? They feel that the government or the current society is not up to the standards and they are born to correct the system. And the final and the most interesting piece is, I heard a voice. Who are these people? They are schizophrenic hackers. These people think that they heard a voice, some superpower sent them, and they are meant to destroy the system to restore faith for the humanity. Whatever cyber attacks that you see in the market today are these bunch of people. Some people just want to watch the world burn, right? Those are the mindset of people that you see in the market today. Okay, but Hollywood gets something really, really right. What is it? The authentic recruitment process that you see in the movies, where all of them join a very interesting cult society. Now, this is actually true. The people who do such cyber attacks, you will never know that they are part of it. You could have had a coffee with somebody, a random stranger in the airport, who talks about cool gig. I've met a lot of people I don't know if they are, attackers or cyber criminals or not. They are very, very authentic and calm common men. Now, what makes them join these things? Emotion is a very dangerous thing that happens in our society. Most of us click links. If you feel sad for a cancer patient, you want to donate without reading the subject. Hacking into someone's computer is very easy. The first things first, hacking into someone's emotion is what makes sense. These guys are portrayed and also are recruited based on greed, money, and money. You would see that person working in a company as an IT administrator, but you will see a lot of cash in their house, Ferrari cars, and lavish lifestyles. And also the mentality that I spoke in the previous slide, they contribute saying that let's join a cult society and save the world. Now, beyond the screen. Now the whole thing happens, usually I talk about this in the love story, in the movies where there's a love story. And after all odds, the couple are happy together. Nobody shows what happens after that. You go to their house and see, you know what happens. Especially when in the attacks, these attacks happen, nobody talks about what happens behind the scenes. Any data that's being stolen is super, super dangerous. Do you know that your digital identity, that you take photocopies in the shops and you feel that it's not in proper condition, you end up not tearing it or shredding it, you throw it, that's a big business. Your social identity or your security number or your digital identity is sold in the internet today for 200 euros. That we call it as a dark web. Now these criminals, when they get recruited as part of this cult, they start implanting attacks inside the organization who are called as insider attacks, and these attacks that they craft are sold as close to 8,000 euros. That's why sometimes you see hospitals being hacked. These are sometimes insider threats. Companies being hacked, your email ID is actually worth 5 to 7 euros. Shocking, right? A small piece of paper is valued up to 5 to 7 euros in the black or the dark web today. Now, what's the interesting thing about this? Where does it take us? What happens with all these data? What does this yield you? People talk about this in the news. A news just talks about a fact saying that today somebody was attacked. Done. Do you know what happens to an organization when a cyber attack or a breach happens? Shares fall. The reputation of the company goes for a toss. Whoever is in charge for cybersecurity really takes a deep hit in the company. But how do we find these people? These people are part of cult gangs and part of this whole organization where they keep doing this time and again, and most of them get away with it. This is what actually happens when your data gets compromised. What happens when these data get leaked and when movies portray these kind of things? What's next? So we're going to see about the 3 different types of attacks, how it's affecting our daily lives. Health hijacks and cricket players. Now the news tells you that a hospital was probably hacked. It's just medical data, right? Some patient records, name, date of birth, insurance policy. Now what can happen with this? Imagine a celebrity player, his health record has been hijacked, and a list of players' health records have been hijacked with recent scans, injury, tears, physiotherapy aspects of it. It gets leaked. Analysts can use these things to change the dynamics of an auction. They will know with the latest AI ML models that say feed, build models, they can figure out when is the player prone to injury, can he leave mid-season or will he play the whole season? Depending on that, you invest your money on different players or on the player. This is game changing, right? A small health record can be also sold as a private property or like a private record in the internet, impacting the lives of such celebrities. That is such dangers of these attacks and leaks. Okay, deepfakes. Now let's say that your identity is being stolen, and what max can happen with your passport photo, which is probably not shredded properly, or of you making some random reels in the internet? What do you do with these things? Enter deepfake calls in the market today. Earlier, scams were part because everybody gave SIM cards for free. Now, scams were easily identifiable because of the way the vocabulary was used, the way they spoke, the dynamics and the mannerisms. Well, generative AI is there today. You can craft a perfect call which is error-free and then probably use it against someone which you cannot spot it. And do you know, generative AI is come to a fact where it can do a 55-minute sales call with a customer. An AI replica can do a 55-minute sales call with a customer. Now imagine it gets the lingo right, the language right, the accent right, and it says it's FedEx, and it talks to you exactly the pattern of an IVR, you're doomed. And with all of us, our identities somewhere lurking around. And with these deepfake calls, you can easily extort money or even say that your son's kidnapped or your daughter's kidnapped. With our social media presence, our voice, our reels, our videos everywhere, this will open a whole new can of worms. These are the after impacts of the attacks. Yep. The new FedEx scam. I think most of you would have got calls from the FedEx scam saying that your card has been used to send a parcel somewhere, and especially to a country which is somewhere, and said your ID has been misused. Most of us panic. These are targeted attacks towards people who are 50 and above. They would panic. Not all parents are cool like my parents. They say if your son's missing, probably my wife's also here, says like your husband's missing, you're like, okay, probably he'll be back. He won't go anywhere. But imagine a set of people who really, are worried because they prey on emotions. And your voice is the same, which is simulated. Your identity is the same. And especially in FedEx scam, what is happening is a lot of government officials' ID cards, letter pads have been leaked already. No, they invite you to a Skype call. They show that person with the letter pad saying that there's a warrant issued against you and there are money being extorted. This includes HR folks from big marketing teams and even people from the press. Some of their details have been leaked. And this is doing a lot of rounds in the internet today. So that's how dangerous it is. Now, when this comes to this identity thefts, it's getting a little nastier day by day. Be your ID cards, you can also do a swim swap with your ID cards, especially during the pandemic. Most of them were not supposed to go outside. These identity thefts resulted in SIM swaps, temporarily barring numbers, a lot of wallet scams, and tons of stuff. Now, are these being inspired by movies? Are these movies portraying a pretty negative shade? To be very honest, my primary profession for the last how many years is actually watching movies. Okay? My secondary profession is I'm an investigator, a threat investigator. Hollywood, all these movies inspired to be what I am today. Okay? Now, engineering was a big task for somebody like me. To get past 64 subjects was like carrying both your kids and walking in Church Street on a Sunday. It's absolutely hard. Okay? And also, it's very, very hard. But somehow you crossed that. Now, what helped me to do these things was watching movies gave me a lot of inspiration to break down the complex topics into simple stuff. Okay? Now, cybersecurity is also a very complex topic. So these innovative way and the humor in line helped me to break it down into very simple stuff. Now, Hollywood's doing a good job of encouraging people to take up that sassy, cool stuff. But are they going too overboard when people, especially the next generation, gets easily influenced by this? Now that they have to get it right. The tech that they show is cool and it's right, but there should be a disclaimer or something of a sort. When I used to be a kid, we used to watch something called He-Man. They used to say in the end, don't do all these things, don't jump from there, save people, be safe. Okay? So something of that should probably become a social responsibility. Now that's where we are at today. The perceptions and the misconceptions about the society adds a lot of to it. Sometimes gets to a digital aversion or a tech aversion where is this profession really safe and sound for you to do it? Well, this is one of the coolest professions you can actually do. You will be seen as a star. You will make a difference in a lot of people's life. Saving somebody from such threats is such a noble thing that you can do, and you'll be happy that your education has contributed to that also. Now, we need to build a new world, guys. The only difference between the good guys and the bad guys today is they have the same resources as what you and I have. It's even, we are even. It's how we take it up and how we do it. Cybersecurity is a very noble profession. Digital investigation is a big profession. The more we are digital, the more we are opening the dark world doors, and there are a lot of predators that are roaming around us. We need to set up an environment safe and sound for the generations to come. We are at war. You never know what the next world war is going to be. It is going to be the digital war. We need minds like you to come fight with us. I can fight for quite a bit of time with a lot of other cyber warriors there. We are fighting. We are fighting every day to make sure that the world is a safe place for the future to be in. And internet is a future where you are safe. Remember one thing. Before I leave, I want to make a small statement. It takes only one chance out of 10,000 chances for a bad or a threat actor to hack or disrupt your network. As a defender, we have to get it right every time. With you, bright minds around, I'm sure our future is safe. We are trying to secure one line of code at a time. Come, let's save this world, and we have a war to fight. Thank you.